Today we're going to be discussing on how to install the door monitors and window monitors. So the first thing you want to do is just get some regular household rubbing alcohol, put it on a paper towel, and clean the surface where you're going to be mounting the door monitors. This is to get any residue off of the door or the window, so we make sure that these are going to stick real good once they're applied. So we're going to open up the transmitter box. This is what comes in every package. First thing you want to do is you want to pull out this little tab from the transmitter. This separates the battery from the circuit board and shipping. And we tap it 2 or 3 times just to make sure that that battery is seated in it real good. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to open this package, and you'll see what comes in the contents here. You're going to get a little white rubber thing that's in the package. You won't be using that. You're going to get 2 3M tapes here that goes on the magnet, and you've got one that goes on the transmitter. So you can do 2 ways of installing this. You can hard mount it with these screws that's applied. There's 2 that goes in each, that goes in the transmitter, and 2 that will go into the magnet. We normally use these when we've got wood casings. It's just more simple to apply, and it's assured they're going to stay on there, because sticking the 3M tape on wood is not as good as natural as the screws would be. But the next thing you'll notice here is this spacer, and this spacer is used for a couple of things. But if you're going to be mounting this on like a steel frame or steel door, you would have to use the spacer. So it comes with 2 pre-cut 3M tapes that you would apply like so, and then you would have the second one here. So this spacer is used for these steel doors, because if you didn't use it, that steel in time would demagnetize the magnet, and so it wouldn't have any strength to activate the transmitter. So you have to use the spacer, because if you don't, in a short period of time, this will be demagnetized. You can also use a spacer where when mounting these, whatever your situation is, all door frames and window frames are different. So they can be mounted, if you can see that, they can be mounted like that, this much apart, this much apart. But if you wanted to, for cosmetic reasons, just to build up the surface to where it would be more even cosmetic wise, you could use that spacer as well. In mounting these, they can be as much as 3/4 of an inch away from each other. So you just want to allow plenty of room between the transmitter and the magnet. In thinking of this before you mount it, you want to slide the door or the window open, making sure that when you shut it, that door is not going to jump up or move any more forward from where you're going to be placing the monitors. Because if you had the magnet on the door, and you had this on the door frame, and when you shut the door, if you didn't have enough space, if you only had, say, that much space, which is about 1/4 of an inch, and that door would slam hard and it would bump into the transmitter, it would knock the magnet off. So you want to make sure that you've spaced enough away from each other, up to 3/4 of an inch, and that'll give you plenty of room for any play in the door. So once you're ready to apply the 3M tape, you've already cleaned the surface where you're going to mount it. And so we will apply a few drops of super glue to the product. And what this super glue does is, during cold weather and the temperature in the property is warm, it'll cause the doors to sweat. The super glue will keep it from ever slipping because of that condensation from the doors. Now if you was going to hard mount it, you would find your place on the door, the frame, wherever you're going to mount it, and you would go ahead and apply this with the tape that's already on here. And the reason you do that is because it will make it easier when you pop it open, it would make it easier because now it's stuck to the frame. Now then you can pre-drill the holes for the screws that you're going to be using. And now then, when you get ready to put the screws in there, these holes are going to match up perfect, so you won't have no offset in the transmitter. So you just want to make sure, and we've covered this in the changing the battery video, but you want to make sure before you mount this, let me open this back up and show it to you again, that this little rubber tit matches the tamper switch inside the transmitter. So it goes on just like this. I mean, it can go on backwards and it won't work if it does that. The thermostat will say DO. So just make sure that that's correct. And when you do that, you're going to see the little arrow on the side of the transmitter. That's got to face the magnet when both are applied on the door or the frame. So once that's done, then it'll make it easier when you get ready to change batteries. You'll pop this open and change your battery, and you put the little arrow will go to the magnet, and everything is in sequence here. So now that we've applied that here, we would take this tape on the back side off, which I will not do for demonstration here, and you'll add the few drops of super glue to it here. Now then, that we're not using, this is going to be used when we do it this way. This is for applying on aluminum doors that you don't want to, if you don't want to hard mount them, then you would put the glue on the back of the tape, apply it to the door, push in on it, hold it for a few seconds, and then we're going to do the same thing to the magnet. We're going to put a few drops of glue on it. We're going to apply the 3M to the back of it. We would take it as well, peel off the back side, add a few drops of super glue again, and then we'd put that, both of them would be in sequence with each other. When we put them, they'd be parallel with each other when we mount them on the doors or the windows. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. But the super glue is important. We have had people that didn't use the super glue before, but the life of these staying on the doors will be longer. That super glue and the tape on there, you would really have to pry it off the door with a sharp instrument to get it off. That's how well they'll stick. They'll stay on there for a long, long time. And that will conclude this session.